Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Everybody can hear? Yes? Okay. The 6th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad, as we saw yesterday, is the first chapter in the whole Upanishad that deals with Brahma Vidya. All the other chapters are also Vidya, but what kind of Vidya? Vidya in the form of Upasana, various preparatory devices, various meditations and other upayas. Upayas means mechanisms, solutions for what? For calming the mind. For it is only in a tranquil mind can this knowledge be assimilated. Even to hear that you are the whole requires some settlement of what? Raga and Dvesha. What else? What else is there? Some purity, some kind of a settlement. One has to be relatively cheerful, relatively whole, relatively free in order to understand the truth of oneself as absolutely free of sorrow, absolutely whole and without a second, and absolutely free of even the notion of bondage. So, in order to get this on the everyday level, in order to understand this at the everyday level, one has to get this calmness, this tranquility, which includes everything. Shama, Dhamma, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam, and then Viveka, Vairagya. What am I missing? Mumukshutvam. So these are all things that we have to acquire, cultivate in order to be recipients, worthy recipients of this knowledge, in order to have this understanding. So therefore the first 5 chapters give all these various ways to understand first that one is not alienated. There is one Panchagni Vidya also in the first few chapters of the Chandogya Upanishad. And this Panchagni Vidya is talking about the connection of our own body, mind, sense complex, and how the life is, this life that we say is my life as an individual jiva, how this life is not really dependent on you. This life comes from elsewhere. This sentience is borrowed, as it were, by the body, mind, sense complex. All that is taught. Everything is done, and by the 6th chapter, we understand a very important truth. What is that truth? There is a lot more left to know. That is the truth. We haven't even scratched the surface of all that is there in what is called Tvam Pada Vichara, the shaking up of this notion of what is this I. We haven't even come there, let alone Tat Pada Vichara, the understanding of what that is, the word that, which is always a stand-in for Brahman Ishvara. The word Tat is a stand-in for Brahman because the Shruti has to come down to our level to teach. We don't find Brahman anywhere, and then we say, therefore it is remote. So the remote word, the word is what? That. Somewhere out there, that Brahman is what? This I. That is the teaching. So therefore, in the third chapter of the Upanishad, some words were introduced for meditation. Tajjalan iti upasita. These are names. Tadanam iti upasita. There is no such word. Tajjala, Tadana, there is no such word. These are names deliberately made up by the Upanishad. Why will the Upanishad make up these names? The Upanishad makes up these names because the regular names Atma, Brahman, one is a jaded, faded jiva. So each time you hear the word Atma, you check out. Yes, Atma, I know, yeah. Next, Brahman, okay, big deal, yes. That's why the poor Shruti has to come up with new ways of explaining this. In fact, the more we know, the more jaded we become. That's why Tajjalan iti upasita, Tadanam iti upasita, Aniti praniti iti anam. Aniti means that which breathes, that which is the source of this very breath. May you see this Brahman, may you meditate upon this Brahman in this manner. It was told. But what this Brahman is was not told, because it's after all the preparatory portion. Why should I meditate upon this was also not told. And another small thing that was told earlier is that if a Vipra means a wise person, if a Vipra is happy means what? Feels fulfilled. Feels fulfilled means Vipra is always fulfilled, that is the idea. But here, the fulfillment of the Vipra has the effect of making everybody else happy, at least in a certain kind of a circuit. So that's why when one goes and visits a Mahatma and sits down with them, all the questions die down. You go to the teacher or the Mahatma with a lot of questions, you go to the saint with a lot of questions, and then as soon as you sit in front of the Mahatma, what happens? The questions are all gone. One feels blank, which is good because rarely does one feel blank. Yes, one has a lot to say, one has too much to do, but here there is a sense of the cessation. A cessation of that questioning, doubting, and overproducing mind, overproducing the chronic patterns of thinking, being, living, etc. So there is a kind of a settlement, and this is what is referred to as Jnana Phalam in the earlier chapters of the Chandogya. But there is a hint. What is the hint? That which can make the Vipra, the wise person, happy is the same thing that can make me also satisfied and happy. So the Toshanam, the contentment of the Vipra, if it becomes kind of my contentment, even by some kind of an osmosis, what does that mean? That the truth of the Vipra and the truth of me should be what? Two different things? No, one and the same. So this Ekatmatvam has not been talked about. And what is this Ekatmatvam? What is this one Atma that as though pervades everything is not talked about at all? Therefore, Adi Shankara, in giving the Sangati means the connection between the previous chapters and this chapter, says the Tasmat, that's why, what is this? This 6th chapter, this Shashtha Prapathakaha. Prapathakaha here means chapter. There are many ways to refer to chapters. There is, you say Valli, where in Kathopanishad and Taittiriya Upanishad it is known as Valli. Valli means creeper, but here it also means chapter. Prapathakaha, it is, the word is used in Chandogya with the same meaning. What does that mean? Chapters, sections. So therefore, the 6th chapter is begun. This meticulousness of Adi Shankara's connection from the previous things that have gone by to this chapter shows an important detail. And what is that? It shows us that everything is so very well connected. And highlighting these connections, we see how much we have come and where we need to go. We also increase our Shraddha by seeing these connections that Adi Shankara so painstakingly highlights, because in seeing these connections, we are satisfied that the Shruti is not just a random pralapanam, just a random, bursting forth of various statements. Suddenly Tat Tvam Asi, suddenly Aham Brahmasmi, with no Purva and Apara connection, with no connection of what went before, with no connection of what is to come after. This is not the Shruti. She is meticulous, she is orderly, and she follows our mad mind. And somehow, despite ourselves, not because of ourselves, despite ourselves, we get enlightened. This is something we have to give credit for. And studying the Shruti by oneself, one misses these connections. That's why we rely heavily on the parampara, we rely heavily on the comet, the very bright comet that lit up the firmament of this teaching, but at the same time left a streak of light which we are still enjoying and benefiting from. And so Adi Shankara's meticulous connections in fact show us how meticulous the Shruti is, and how in an orderly fashion she has taken us from the Upasana portion of the first 5 chapters to the 6th chapter. And this is why the 6th chapter is begun, to understand how the contentment of the Vipra is all our contentment. Why? Because there is only one, without a second Atma that is there. That is the first purpose of this chapter. And the second purpose of this chapter is to understand the connection between oneself and what is called Ishvara. And how this Atma, if there is only one Atma, it has to account for this me. What is this me? The sad old me who has come to the Shastra with the hope of some redemption, with the hope of gaining some freedom. And the glorious Ishvara, with whom there is nothing in common, at least on the surface, there is nothing in common. And then there is a Ishvara is the Lord. What am I? Lorded, the Lorded one. Aham cha tvam cha Rajendra Lokanatha Ubhavapi. One fellow said, studied Sanskrit, so he could say this. And what did he say? Aham cha tvam cha Rajendra. Oh, great one, king of kings. Aham cha tvam cha Rajendra. Both of us are what? Lokanathau. Lokanathau means what? Lord of the world. See, this is the beauty of Sanskrit compounds. Lord of the world, we shouldn't say, we should say world Lord. That's what the compound is. Aham cha tvam cha Rajendra Lokanathau Ubhau api, we are both world lords. World lords? Yeah, that's a compound. Even in English we have compounds. Gas station. A station where gas is dispensed. You see, it's a compound. And so, therefore, world lord, we are both. And then, what, but there's only one slight difference. What is the difference? In how the compound is resolved, there is a difference. Bahuvrihi cha aham asmi. I am this compound, the way in which it is resolved, called Bahuvrihi. Bahuvrihi means what? So that means that the essence of that meaning of the compound is outside of the compound. It's neither talking of world, nor is it talking of Lord, but it is someone who is lorded by the world, which is outside of that. So this sad little Bahuvrihi, I am. Shashti Tat Purusho Bhavan. You are what? Another compound called 6TP in English. So that means Lord of the world. The word of here is the Shashti. You are Lord of the world. I am what? Lorded by the world. Slight difference between the two of us. Slight difference, huge difference. It's a chasm for which the Grand Canyon is no match. It's a huge chasm, and that's why the 6th chapter is an attempt by the Shruti to help us bridge this chasm. That is the second purpose why this 6th chapter is started. So the 6th chapter is very famous, and we know why it is famous. Why is it famous? Tat Tvam Asi, we know that. And in fact, one gentleman who had recently taken sannyasa came to Pujya Swamiji, and he said, I'm going abroad, I'm on a foreign tour. He had not studied anything. I'm going in 1 month. What are you going to do there? I'm going to teach. Yes, I'm going to teach. So, how can I help? You teach me quickly in 1 month so that I can go teach. And so Pujya Swamiji taught him. He went and then he toured around, taught, stayed there for some time. Maybe 6 months later he came back. What did you teach? Pujya Swamiji said. By that time he had developed a total American accent. Tat Tvam Asi, he said. And so that's why this chapter is very famous. Nobody knows the Upanishad, but everybody knows what? Tat Tvam Asi, people know. People know this Tat Tvam Asi very well. The words people know. And even cafe in Rishikesh is named as Tat Tvam Asi. Yes, when you come there, you can go. And so like this is a famous chapter. But for our purposes, it's famous for one more reason. And that's because that which an Upanishad should be, that which the Upanishad should have, it has everything which the Upanishad should be, it has everything which an Upanishad should have. It is like a prototype of the Upanishad, what it should be. And what should an Upanishad be? How should we recognize something as Upanishad? For which there are 6 lingas given. Lingyate anena iti lingaha. So lingyate anena, by this something is understood. And that this is called linga. Indicators is a close, word for linga. 6 indicators, 6 factors which tell us this is Brahma Vidya, this is the Upanishad, that is giving us Brahma Vidya. There are 6 factors. And the sixth chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad embodies this very, very, very clearly. It is out in the open. So therefore it becomes a very good Upanishad to teach, easily assimilable by the student. Very, very easy to assimilate. A very good Upanishad for teaching it becomes. And then so the sixth chapter has all the 6 lingas in Sanskrit called as Shadlinga. The Shadlingas are there. And then that tells us what all the Upanishads should have. Brahma Vidya should have all these 6 lingas. And what are they? Upasamhara, conclusion, upakrama. Upakrama, upasamhara. These two are one, okay? Yeah. Upakrama, what is upakrama? Beginning. Introduction must be there. You can't suddenly start wherever you want. Introduction must be there, and then what should be there? Conclusion must be there. In fact, this is how a child is taught to write an essay. First you say what all you are going to talk about. What is this about? And then in the conclusion, you can't just, you can't say the sky is blue in the introduction and then conclude by saying, therefore I saw an elephant. The two things don't match. You have to connect. And you have to summarize the main themes of the introduction in the conclusion. This is what is Upasamhara. So Upakrama here is what? The Akhyayika, the story between this Uddalaka, also called Arunihi, and then Shvetaketu. Father and son turned what? Guru and Shishya, Guru and disciple. This is the Upakrama. And the Upakrama also includes the famous question which is there in one form or the other in all the Upanishads. Yena vijnanena sarvam vijnatam syat. Prishtavan tvam. Have you asked for that knowledge, knowing which everything as well becomes known? We find this in the Mundaka Upanishad with Shaunaka going to Rishi Angiras. Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati iti. Knowing what knowledge, everything is as well as known. We find this again being repeated in the 7th chapter, in the very next chapter, where Narada goes to Sanat Kumara. Narada is student, Sanat Kumara is the teacher, and who is Sanat Kumara? Yeah, Shishya of Lord Dakshinamurti. You see there, when you go closer and see, you will see 4 sages sitting at the feet of the Lord. Don't ask me which is Sanat Kumara, okay? You choose whichever one you want. And then that will be what? Sanat Kumara. Sanat Kumara, the direct disciples, one of the direct disciple of Lord Dakshinamurti. And so Narada goes, and Sanat Kumara wants to know, where should I begin to teach? Because you are already so well known. Please tell me, should I begin at Vedanta 101, 201, or postgraduate Vedanta? Where should I begin? You first tell me what you know, and I will tell you from where to go. We will take it from there. Then he tells a page-long qualifications of all the things that he knows. And like some of the Anuvakas in Sri Rudram, there is no full stop. So in one breath he says, all the way to the end where there is a full stop. Rig Vedaha Aham Bhagavaha Adhyemi. Adhyemi means I'm a student. You don't say I know the Rig Veda because it's huge. You're always studying. It's always in work in progress. I'm a student of the Rig Veda. Oh, okay, you're studying your own Veda, wonderful. I'm a student of the Yajur Veda. Oh, Dvivedi ji, wonderful. 2 Vedas you know. No, I also know Samaveda, Trivedi, wonderful. 3 Vedas you know. No, I know Atharva Veda also. Adhyemi, Chaturvedi. Oh, you are very much respectable. Then he slowly adds, I know all the Shadangas, 6 Angas of all the Vedas, I know. And he lists all of them. I know Upavedas, 4 Upavedas I know. Plus I know fortune telling, I know this, I know that, I know how to look at you, face reading I know. And then I know this, I know that. But Soham Bhagavaha, Soham, oh, you know this, you are Saha Aham Asmi, I am this Bhagavan, you know. No. Soham means I am the one who knows this bunch of things. Soham is more like Hoham. Yeah, not Soham. The journey from Hoham to Soham has yet to be completed in the 7th chapter. But he says, this is what I am. And Sanat Kumara says, I think I diagnoses his problem. He says, Soham Bhagavaha Shochami. Even though I know all this, I still suffer from grief. I'm subject to grief. Shokasya param tarayatu Bhagavan. Because I have heard. Shrutavanaham. I have heard what have I heard? And I have heard that this knowledge makes you cross sorrow. Tarati shokam atmavit. Shokam tarati atmavit iti. Bhavat sadrishebhyah. But from people like yourselves, Mahatmas like yourself, I have heard. And listening to this, what does Shaunaka say? Shaunaka says, I think I know your problem. You don't know the one thing because of which all this exists. So in other words, you know nothing. Yeah. The only difference between you and other people, O Narada, other people know a little bit of nothing. You know a lot of nothing. What's the difference between a little bit of nothing and a lot of nothing? Same. So you see, this is a kind of a recurring theme in all the Upanishads, which drives home the idea repeatedly that there is some kind of a master key to unlock this world of finitude, this world in which everything is subject to vinasha, everything is subject to destruction, everything is finite, everything comes to an end. There must be some key that locks that unlocks that, What is that key that unlocks this? And why should I need a master key? You're right, I will not need a master key if at all I was happy with the finite. Dwelling in the world of finite, if I were happy, then I would not need a master key. But I can't stand the finite. I cannot handle the finite. I am sick of the finite. I want to run away from the finite, which is why most of the life I foolishly and completely uselessly I am given to 2 pursuits, both of which are big mistakes centered on the I. And so therefore what are the 2 pursuits? Trying to make the finite infinite. The first pursuit. The finite is finite, infinite cannot be made into infinite because infinite is not a product. I do not know. And then what is the second pursuit? They say it's not a pursuit, it's a conclusion. The second problem, rather, is not knowing that I am the infinite that I am looking for. I don't know that. So I keep looking for that which I already am. These are the two mistakes. One centered upon the Jagat, one centered upon the I. Atmani anatma adhyasa. So, adhyasa, mistake. Atmani, centered on the I, not I, mistake. I project the not I on the I. I project the finite, the finite on the infinite. Therefore, if the body is old, what do I say? I am old. I am sick. I am subject to death. I am a mortal. I am unhappy. So the condition of mind, mistaken for Atma, condition of the body, mistaken for Atma, all these things. Atmani, anatma adhyasa means, and means I do not recognize the Atma for what it is. Satchidanandam Brahma. I do not recognize it. Anatmani, Atma adhyasa. So by contrast, the other one is what? In everything that is not Atma, I try to make it infinite. That's why even in our day-to-day conversations we see this. Somebody tells you, I got a job. What do you say? Is it permanent? Nothing is permanent except we don't know. I bought a house. Oh, is it yours? Or is it rented? Rented means it's not yours. Yours means it should be forever yours. So really speaking, one wants what? Forever. One doesn't want the house, one doesn't want the spouse, one doesn't want the job, one wants the forever. And the not forever is mistaken for the forever. Therefore, the whole life after life after life goes with these two mistakes. So any beginning of the Upanishad and any conclusion of the Upanishad, the Upakrama and the Upasamhara should challenge these two assumptions. These two comprise the first linga of the Shadlingas. It should challenge that. And therefore, after the story, what is the Upakrama here? Sadeva Somya idam agre asit. Idam jagat agre sadeva asit. This jagat that you are wanting, you are in a frantic way trying to make this into permanent, is not the jagat at all. It's not just a whole bunch of name and forms. That which sustains the name and form, let us call it Sat. Before it came into being, before it became Vyakta, manifest, what was it? Avyakta, unmanifest, Sat. This Jagat was Sat, is Sat, will be Sat. And the conclusion, therefore, cannot be what? The conclusion cannot be, oh, therefore an elephant came out of my ear. No. That Sat which was begun, which was talked about, Sa Atma, is this Atma, you, Shvetaketo Tvam Asi. Tat Sat, Sa Atma Tvam Asi, Shvetaketo. Very beautifully tied together, you see. This is how the Upanishad tells us how to write essays. So every child learning must have learned from this original way only. So Upakrama, Upasamhara. And then the second linga is what is called this Apurvata. Apurvata means what? The Pramana Vyapara is called Apurvata. Recognizing the Upanishad as a means of knowing something which is anadhigata, not known to any other form of knowledge, any other means and ways of knowing, it is not known to, and so therefore it becomes this apurvata. So what is the apurvata means? It's not known by any other means than listening to the Upanishad. It's not known by any other means whatsoever. And so that means what? That means I am completely dependent upon this. And so, what is the apurvata here? Don't say Tat Tvam Asi, because that is there in every Upanishad. Every Upanishad Mahavakya is there. So that is not the apurvata. The apurvata is here, Vak Alambanam Vikaro Namadheyam. That every name and every form here, every word and every meaning is that which dances on my tongue. It is centered on my speech, it is centered on my awareness, and it does not have a being other than Sat, which is myself. That is the apurvata. And how that is there is given through a beautiful creation cosmology with the highlighting three murta elements, three elements which have form. So that is apurvata. Then there is abhyasa. What is abhyasa? Repetition. Saya esho anima aitadatmyamidam sarvam. This is a chorus that is repeated. Aitadatmyamidam sarvam. All this is just the one Atma, which is the subtlest of the subtlest. And Tat Sat, Sa Atma, Shvetaketu, Tvam Asi is repeated again and again. And this repetition is not punarukti dosha, the fallacy of redundancy. In a teaching situation, we know very well after taking a few retreats how much we rely on repetition. If new material was being given in every retreat, then what would happen? Nothing. Okay? So I attend a lot of camps and lot of retreats, and then what? A lot of nothing. That's all will happen. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, they have to keep repeating, because in the teaching situation this is very important. But I was a straight A student. Why I need this repetition? Everything I could remember, it was on the tip of my tongue. Yes, my dears, everything you could remember. Why? Because it is anatma. Regarding the I, it's not because of memory. Memory has nothing to do here. So if you are abstaining from attending the classes saying, with age my memory is bad, therefore I can't enjoy Vedanta, think again. Because this is not a knowledge based on memory. It's a knowledge based on you. And so therefore, anatma, the knowledge of anatma, everything that is not I, everything finite, yes, is based on memory. But the I is not based on memory. And yet, I do not know. Yet, there are areas of vagueness, obfuscation, vagueness. Yeah, I know Atma is Brahman. How? Don't ask. That I don't know. There is vagueness. And sometimes there is downright error. Why? Why is it that even though I am brilliant in other areas, here is one place I keep needing repetition? Because there are, what is that? Viparita bhavana. There are many, many notions that are already preloaded in the mind, that have their abidance in my antahkarana. They are not going to vacate. They are not going to evacuate. Even if you give them an eviction notice, they are not going to leave. Why? Because they say, this is our ancestral property. We've been here. We've been here even in your last life we were here. And we were here in the life before that. What are you talking now? We are here. And 9/10 of ownership is what? Occupancy. If you show that, okay, I have been here, I have been doing this. That's why in India people are very afraid to give houses for rent. You may never see it again. And even if in the, not so much now, but before they used to have this kind of, all the immigrants used to have this fantasy dream. NRIs. What is NRI? Non-returning Indian. Okay? Yeah. All the non-returning Indian would have the fantasy, I will buy a nice plot in some nice outskirts of the city, lots of shanti, build a big mansion to roll over, enough for grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-great-great-grandchildren, let everybody enjoy. Buy the plot, all right, and then you understand the P is silent, the responsibility is just a lot, okay, yeah, and then you have to look after it. You have to hire a security fellow. And that security fellow will put the first pole on the plot. And then and nobody says anything because it's all just one pole. Who cares? One more pole. 4 poles are there. And one tarpaulin sheet becomes his little staying place. Upon being questioned, he'll say, look how I'm looking after this. It's rain, shine, I need some shelter. That's why I'm just sitting under it. I'm just still watching. Then again, when nobody is looking overnight, it becomes a little shed. And then what? Then you have no other option except to study the Upanishad. That's all you have to do. So like this, there are these like these fantasies, like all these, desires, fantasies, notions. This is what I am, this is what I'll do. And these notions have a mainstay in the psyche. They have occupied your psyche. These desires, these fantasies, these notions, they are not about to vacate. Repetition is the only way. Like the water falling on a rock repeatedly. All the jagged, ragged, angular pieces of the rock become smooth. Mother Narmada, she rocks because she rocks these rocks. There are special divers who go, bring it out. What is that? Shivalinga. Yes. If a rock can respond to the relentless movement of the water, what about the sentient being with a desire for this knowledge, with a desire to study, to understand, with a desire to lose the jagged, ragged, angular aspects of the personality and discover in oneself Purusha. Purusha, the word has 2 meanings. What is that? Sarvan Purayati iti Purushaha, Ishvara, that which fills up everything. And then Puri Shayanam, Puri Shayanat Purushaha, the one who sleeps in the city, sleeps the sleep of ignorance in the citadel. Cannot be a city, because city means you can go and come. This is a fortress. Once you go, the moat is drawn up, you are as though trapped, as it were. And without this knowledge, one feels trapped in this body-mind-sense complex, this Purusha. So this Purusha is that Purusha. Purushaf Purushaha. This is a Mahavakya, really. If you repeat the word Purusha twice, it becomes a Mahavakya. Pujya Swamiji gave, I think, 25 talks on just this one word Purusha. Purushaf Purushaha. So without abhyasa, my dear friends, we cannot understand this at all. We will still be in the realm of vagueness and error. And then, how many have we covered? 3. Then is Arthavada. Arthavada is certain things that glorify the Upanishad. Glorify the Upanishad, that glorify certain things in the Upanishad, that highlight things for the sake of connecting with the Upanishad. Arthavada. The example that I will give is from the Karmakanda, first portion, where there is a statement, Arthavada statement, which is called Agnihi Arodit. Lord Fire, Lord Agni cried. As Americans, what will we say? So what? Shoulder goes up, shoulder comes down. Do you know why he cried? Don't know? Don't care. Don't care to know either. That's what the shrug means. Yes. Don't know? Don't care. He cried, big deal. This is Arthavada. Why? Because it's telling us something important. When you cry, what comes out? Salt. Salt and water comes out. Salty tears come out. When Lord Agni cries, because he is Devata. One is not a Devata. You are not a Devata. He is a Devata. There should be some difference. Otherwise, how will we know he is Devata? What comes out when Lord Fire cries? Molten silver. So Agni, feeling desperate, one day cried tears of melting molten silver, and therefore what? Barhishi rajatam nadeyam. In any kind of a, what is that? Fire ritual, if you have, do not give as a gift silver. What is the idea here? Give gold. Don't say, I will give clay pot. No. Give gold. Give until it hurts, Pujya Swamiji used to say. If it doesn't hurt, if it doesn't pinch, that means you have not given. So this is Arthavada, to glorify Dhanam. This is Arthavada. And then, what else is there? How many have we finished? 4. What are they? Upakrama, Upasamhara. Next one. Apurvata, Abhyasa, Arthavada, Upapattihi. 5th one, Upapattihi. What is Upapattihi? Logic. The use of Shruti, Sammata Yukti. A logic that is in keeping with the Shruti. The logic must not, logic is like a donkey. It can keep on holding, whatever you keep putting on it, it will keep on carrying. Poor beast of burden. It doesn't have the capacity to say alam. Logic also doesn't have alam buddhi. You can do anything with logic. If we say, for example, idam jagat sakartrikam, this jagat is along with the karta because it is huge and we don't know. We can't imagine a random jagat without a creator. If we say that, then the Nayayika, our logician, what will the logician say? Idam jagat aneka kartrikam. Aneka kartrikam means must have many Ishwaras. Don't look for just one Ishwara, must have many Ishwaras. How do you say that? Anekatmakatvat, prasadadivat. They will use the same example. Idam jagat sakartrikam prasadadivat, we can say. This jagat must be like a karta, have a karta, because like a palace cannot just be built overnight. It needs it needs people to do it. And the same logic the Nayayika will take and make something else out of it and say, this jagat must have many Ishwaras. Like your palace has many, many people who built it. Architect is there, who else is there? Mason is there. And then the person who is, putting the doors and windows, carpenter is there, plumber is there. So many people are there. So there must be many, many Ishwaras. So we can't let the Shruti, go out of our hand by using wrong examples. We cannot do that. So therefore, the upapatti means understanding it with the help of the logic that we already know, which is not opposed to the Shruti, which is in keeping with the Shruti. This is upapatti. Then finally, phalam. Phala. Phala means result. And what is the result of this knowledge? Samsara uparamaha, the total cessation, never to come back, cessation of samsara. Samsara means what? Sorrow, some sorrow or the other. Samsara. Sorrow, fear, anxiety, panic, all these are included. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, everything is gone in the wake of which knowledge? That is the phala. Mokshakhyam phalam, called as moksha. These are the shadlingas that make anything complete, that are the hallmarks of every Upanishad. And in this Upanishad we find them abiding in full measure. In other Upanishads, we have to somehow, understand with a little effort. But here the examples are starkly there and for us to enjoy. So before we go on further, does anybody need a little stretch break? We have to go up till 10. If you just need to get up, stretch, sit down, you may do so, and then we will start again. Just a 1 minute stretch break. Yes. We will start again. Every Veda has its own mantra for focus and for readying the mind to assimilate what is going to be given. And this mantra is called Shanti Mantra. And what is this Shanti Mantra? A shloka to ward off Ashanti. Ashanti means, what is Ashanti? Disturbance. Ashanti is disturbance. We come with a disturbed mind, we come with a disturbed psyche, and the Shanti mantra wards off all kinds of disturbances, distractions, and everything is taken care of. Every Veda has a Shanti mantra. And the Chandogya Upanishad belongs to Samaveda. Every Veda has Shanti mantra. Every Veda has also Upanishads. So that if one studies one's own Veda, one gets everything. One gets Aranyaka, one gets the Brahmana portion, ritual portion, one gets Upasanas, one gets everything. And therefore one gets also the Upanishad. So by the Shanti mantra itself, we can decide which Veda it is. So the Shanti mantra that we are about to chant belongs to Samaveda. What is Samaveda? A Veda in which the mantras of the Rig Veda are put into some kind of a basic tune and sung. Sung. And then that which is Geya to be sung, and that which is in the form of Chandas, that is how the word Chandogya has come. One of the Upanishads of the Samaveda, the other one being Keno Upanishad. Keno Upanishad also from the Samaveda. And so, the Shanti mantra, contrary to one's stereotypes of Vedanta as being a disembodied branch of knowledge or some kind of a body of knowledge, where you are asked to transcend the body, you're asked to transcend the desires, you're asked to transcend everything. And this is why Vedanta is not appealing to many, because people say it's not grounded in anything. What about my body? I'm left with my body, I'm left with my mind. It's all nice to say, I am Brahman, but after all, I am a human being. How to bridge this gap? So contrary to that, we see in the Shanti mantra, the prayer is from every limb of the body. The prayer is for the sake of the well-being of this body, for the well-being of the mind, for the well-being of the senses, without which I cannot see, I cannot hear, I cannot assimilate this teaching. Without this, I cannot gain this knowledge. It encourages, the Samaveda Shanti mantra, like other Shanti mantras, encourages us to see this body as mokshayatanam. Ayatana, a means. A means for what? Finally, some signs of life. Yeah. A means for moksha. Usually, how do we look at the body-mind-sense complex? Bhogayatanam. A means for fulfilling the desires. Means for all kinds of bhoga. How to have various kinds of experiences I've never had. So many things. People come to Rishikesh for many reasons. Very few for gaining this knowledge. Mostly what do they come for? River rafting. And then there's a hot air ballooning. And then my favorite one, which is that bungee cord jumping. Yeah. I saw where they jump also. I was going somewhere else. Where was I going? I don't know. And then I saw these big things. And I said, what is this monstrosity? Suddenly, in these huge towers, in this wonderful idyllic full of mountains and the Ganga, we are following and we are going somewhere. And then these huge things. And then I was told it is for this bungee, is bungee cord jumping. I tell you, if you go for that next life, spider. Yeah. That's all it is. keep going like that. Only thing is, BYOC, bring your own cord. Yeah, you bring your own cord, and then you just go up and down. Somebody tries to scare you, you go up, and then you come down. That's what it is, yeah. Either one was a spider in the past life, and the samskaras have not gone, that's why you're attracted to that, or one will become a spider, one is getting ready to become a spider in the next life. Okay? So we see the body as what? A means for bhoga. And what does the Upanishad say? It is actually mokshayatanam. It is a means for moksha. First we make it yogayatanam, a means for karma yoga, and then finally mokshayatanam. So up till now, I have just been seeing this body as what? Something from which counter of experience. I experience comfort, I experience ease, I experience various tastes, various smells, delightful tastes, delightful objects of sight, etc. To convert that into mokshayatanam is the purpose of the Shanti mantra. You can just follow me line by line. Om apyayantu mamangani vak pranaha chakshushrotram atho balam indriyani cha sarvani sarvam brahma upanishadam maham brahma nirakuryam mama brahma nirakarot anirakaranamastu anirakaranam me astu tadatmani nirate ya upanishatsu dharmaha te mayi santu om shanti 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 apyayantu mama angani. Mama angani apyayantu. Very interestingly, before we go on, Adi Shankara did not comment on this mantra at all. Yeah. This Shanti mantra he has not commented, but there is a very nice tika called Upanishad Maniprabha. This Maniprabha tika has beautifully unfolded this mantra. And what does it say? Apyayantu mama angani. Angani means what? All my limbs, hands, legs, etc., all my extremities, everything be energized, well nourished. Well nourished. Because I have to sit for 1.5 hours in the morning, 1.5 hours in the afternoon. So therefore, there must be a certain capacity of the limbs to cooperate for this pursuit, because the pursuit requires a certain, formation of the body, mind, sense complex, relatively unmoving. In the middle of the class, you can't keep doing like this. Little bit of adjustment is okay, but you suddenly can't do yogasanas, go like this, go like that, go into Gomukhasana, all these things you can't do. And so therefore, all that has to be done before, okay? Or after. But during the class, there has to be a certain way in which the limbs of the body have to come into a certain formation and have to cooperate. And so, may they be well nourished, O Lord. And who is the source of the nourishment? You. May they be well nourished not by magic, by you, by your grace. By your grace in the form of my own prarabdha karma, which allows me to sit. And what if the prarabdha karma doesn't allow me to sit? You now neutralize that because I am praying for this. If my karma doesn't allow me to sit, there is back pain, front pain, side pain, top pain, bottom pain. In fact, the whole thing is just a incarnation of pain. Then you take care of it. Why? Because my desire for this knowledge exceeds the pain, the discomfort. This is why titiksha is very important. Titiksha is the ability to put up with discomfort for the sake of this teaching. That is what is titiksha. And without that, you can kiss the knowledge goodbye. Very important qualification. And so, therefore what? So therefore, apyayantu, may my limbs magically arrange themselves into Padmasana and never move from there. May they just sit like that. May they not complain and say, get up, shut up, get up, do this, do that. May they, just for the sake of this knowledge, is almost as though the inert body is itself, which is just a vehicle of knowledge, itself is the jignasu, itself is the mumukshu, and sitting with rapt attention. So, let my jignasa be transferred to this inert body, as it were, so that there is a certain ekagrata, there is a certain alignment between the body, the mind, the senses, the attention, the focus, everything. And then, not only the organs and limbs, but also vak. So vak, when you say, we bring in karmendriya. Vak prana is what? The karmendriya upalakshana. Upalakshana for the karmendriyas. Various karmendriyas are there, and then this is the upalakshana for the karmendriyas. So, vak means what? Speech. So the speech also has to be, the speech also has to be there. The speech also has to cooperate. When there should be speech, there should be speech. When there should be silence, there should be silence. So let the vak cooperate. Let prana also cooperate. Prana also should cooperate. Vak should cooperate. And then what else? Chakshushrotram. Chakshushrotram upalakshana, stand-in for all the sense organs, jnanendriyas. Chakshushrotram, primary. Shrotram is needed, ear is needed for hearing, and chakshu is needed also for note-taking, so many things. Those are mentioned, but all the other three are included. Atha u balam, may they not only be protected and nourished, may they grow in strength. Indriyani cha sarvani, may they grow in strength. Grow in strength, this is troubling. Yeah, grow in strength means what? The nose becomes longer and longer. Like Pinocchio, there was one nursery, what is it, just stories that we tell children. What are they called? Fairy tales. Yeah. There's one fellow who lies, and each time he lies, the nose grows longer. No, not like that. Grow in the yearning for this knowledge. Like I said, the body is, as it were, it's like a very interesting displacement. The displacement of the mumukshuta, which is centered on the sentient being, the ahankara, the I, is actually consciously, as a figure of speech, as an alankara, displaced onto the body-mind-sense complex, which is a mere vehicle, but it's as though I'm listening with my body. I'm listening with every single pore in the body. The tvak is involved, the skin is involved, every single pore is absorbing the knowledge. The body is absorbing the knowledge, the mind is absorbing the knowledge, the senses are absorbing the knowledge. What does this mean? That all of them are in the service of this knowledge. I have to. Those that act as masters, I have to make them into servants, blessed by this mantra. The body is what? Servant. What does it act like? Master. Go do this, go do that. Don't sit here, sit there. It orders me around. And I become a servant catering to the needs of the body all the time. Like the person who used to come to Gita classes. Used to come with about 8-10 cushions. One big backpack with 8-10 cushions in various shapes. One was triangular shaped. Another one was a little round, small thing. Another one was wing shaped, 2 things. 8-10 cushions. And there were already cushions in the classroom. 4-5 also cushions from the classroom he would take. And he would sit down. And then the legs would not cooperate, poor thing. And then 3-4 cushions this side. The legs would be the instead of Padmasana, it would be like airplane wings, the knees. And they would be, you have to wedge all the cushions, front, back, everything. And by the time he was comfortable, Om Purnamadav Purnamidam, finished. How much he assimilated, only Bhagavan knows, because I don't think even he knows how much he assimilated. So let that not be the case. Let not the body be the master of me. Let me be the master of the body. That's what I said. Relatively, there has to be a certain mastery in order to have Swamitvam, absolute mastery. So relatively, so the body is trainable. You see, we don't do this. We give in to the body very, very easily. It says it registers a little bit of pain. Oh my God, X-ray, let me go, take, oh no, I'm dying. Yeah. And then after that what? The X-ray reveals a hole in the pocketbook. That's all it reveals. Nothing else was there to begin with. Even if something is there, it can be taken care of. No, it can't be taken. Okay. Or not, it can't be taken care of. But it is how it is. There is something that overrides the body, and that is your own sankalpa. And so when I say, may the body be strong, there is another kind of a little displacement going on. May I be strong enough to withstand the machinations, the orders of this body. Chakshush, Shrotram, all these things. And also what to talk of the mind. The mind, considering itself the master of the body, also gives orders, do this, do that. And then the mind also has to be first driven away and then admitted through the back door, through the service entrance. And then here you are, you just sit down, you listen, you be in service of the knowledge. You are not a master of this knowledge. You are a place where the knowledge happens. You are not the agent of this knowledge. You are in service of this knowledge. So let all these, the body-mind-sense complex, let it grow in service. Let it grow in receptivity. Let it grow in being mastered. Let it grow in availability. And that is its strength. And then, why should it grow like this? because everything that I have to know, sarvam, all that is here, known and unknown, is sarvam, sarvam Brahma. Sarvam Brahma. This is what I have to know. Idam sarvam, all this starting with my own body, mind, sense complex, Brahma. What kind of Brahman is this? Aupanishadam Brahma. Upanishadi Bhavam. Upanishada Pratipaditam. Aupanishadam. Tadhita word, say, where you make a noun out of another noun. Upanishadi Bhavam, that which is in the Upanishad is called Aupanishadam Brahma. What is in the Upanishad? Brahman. So what is Pratipaditam? What is taught by the Upanishad? Brahman. Sarvam Brahma, Aupanishadam eva Brahma. So therefore, I have to know this. It is not something to touch or feel or experience. This Brahman is to be understood by exposing myself, a committed exposure to the Upanishad. Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam. Upanishadam Brahma. There is a Patha Bheda. Sometimes you may find Sarvam Brahmopanishadam. So, it is Brahma plus Upanishadam. It's also okay. But this understanding is better. This is what in our parampara Pujya Swamiji followed. Adi Shankara also uses the word Upanishadam. And in some other Upanishad also, the word Upanishadam Brahma is used. And so, because it has a presence, we will take this particular rendition. Upanishadam Brahma. Sarvam Brahma. Upanishadam Brahma. Everything is Brahman, but where is this Brahman? It is imparted through the study of the Upanishad. So what should be my attitude to this Brahman, which I still don't know, other than the fact, a little factoid that it is in the Upanishad, I know. What should be my attitude? Ma aham Brahma nirakuryam. May I give this Brahman a chance to reveal itself through the Guru Mukhat, through the teacher, through the teachings. Let it reveal itself. Before, if I say, talk to the hand, this Brahman does not exist. What is this Brahman? Nothing is there except me. It's all just a random arrangement of molecules. If I say that beforehand, then I'm doing myself the greatest disservice. Nay, it is a rank form of self-denial. Asanne vasabhavati asad brahmeti veda chet asti brahmeti chet veda santamenantato viduriti. Taittiriya Upanishad. Second Valli. Asatyeva sabhavati yadi chet asat brahma iti veda. The one who knows Brahman to be what? Non-existent, as it were, becomes what? Non-existent. Why? The one who is denying oneself happens to be Brahman. If you deny Brahman, what are you doing? A rank form of self-denial. Asti Brahma iti ched veda. The one who says Asti Brahma must be seen as somebody to be reckoned with. Why? Because Asti Brahma is the precursor to Asmi Brahma. If you don't say Asti Brahma, Brahman is, how can you say Asmi Brahma? I am that Brahman, how can you say? So we have to have at least that much Shraddha. Maham Brahma nirakuryam. Here Brahman can be taken as consciousness, Satchidanandam Brahma, Shuddha Chaitanya. We can say, as it were, which is not avachinna, which is not, as it were, conditioned by name and form. Or we can take Brahma as Jagat Karanam Brahma. Jagat Karanam Brahma. And what is this Jagat Karanam Brahma? Ishvara. Ishvara is Jagat Karanam Brahma. Brahman as the cause of the universe. Ishvara, Bhagavan, God. We don't use the word God that much, but just in the beginning, just to get ourselves on the same page, we can say that this Ishvara. Ishvara is better because the word God is overused. It is loaded with all kinds of notions which have been pushed down many people's throats with a stick. You have to believe God is loving, but be careful, and all these things. So many things which we have to unpack. Therefore, the more objective term is Ishvara. Ishu Palane. Ishu meaning the overlordship. And when? All the time. Vara. The pratyaya vara is santata bhave, in the sense of all the time. So we will use the word Ishvara. And so therefore, this Brahman can be taken as consciousness, or consciousness as embodied with unlimited upadhi, limitless upadhi, and the samarthya, the capacity of karta, being karta, dharta, and samharta, the one who is the so-called, as it were, the creator, the sustainer, and the resolver of the entire universe of names and forms. So then, here too, there is a gap to be bridged, because many people have Ishvara allergy, God allergy. You say the word Ishvara, and then you look for them, they have disappeared. They've gone, poof, finished. They're not there anymore. You say the word Ishvara, they are still there, but they have broken into hives. They have kind of an anaphylactic-like reaction. Why? Because there are some issues. There are some issues which make me deny Ishvara. And those issues are psychological issues having to do with the unconscious mind and having to do with the authority. Not understanding my relationship to authority makes me be wary of authority figures. And who is the greatest authority figure? Ishvara, the one who is himself, herself, Anishvaraha. Oh, you said Ishvara, now you are calling him Anishvara? What is this? Again, our Bahuvrihi compound. Ishvaraha na vidyate yasya Anishvaraya namaha tasmai namaha. In the Shiva Ashtotra it comes. Ishvaraya namaha, Anishvaraya namaha. Anishvaraya means the one who doesn't have an Ishvara. A bossless boss, a causeless cause. Everybody has a boss. Even the one who says, I am my own boss, has a boss. Because to say that, he or she should have taken permission from the spouse. Yeah. 3 times a week, let me please say, I am the boss. Okay. So like this, everybody has a boss. The bossless boss is the one we are talking about. And then there is the place of great discomfort, great non-resolution, great fear, and therefore the denial. Maham Brahma Nirakuryam. And then another aspect of Jivatvam is very beautifully revealed in the second line. Mama Brahma Nirakarot. May Bhagavan not deny me. Who are you? Are you one with Bhagavan or not? Say yes, even if you want to say no. Yeah. Are you one with Bhagavan or not? Yes. So why will Bhagavan deny you? It's like, will you deny your left hand? Just say, this hand doesn't belong to me, this hand doesn't belong to me, this is not mine, this is not me. You will not do that unless there is some special medical condition. There is one such condition where people are afraid of their own body parts. But unless one has that, one is not going to deny, this is not me. So why will Bhagavan deny you? Because for Bhagavan, this whole Jagat, starting with your own body, mind, sense complex, is an extension of him, herself. There is nothing other than Ishvara. So the question of denying by Ishvara does not arise. But here too is a displacement. Who is the one doing the denial? Me. It's my own feeling. Bhagavan has abandoned me. This is what brings us to Vedanta, or should bring us to Vedanta. Bhagavan is not there for me. He is there for you. You are doing well in life. He is there for you. You seem to be all right. He is there for you too, because the promotion I deserved, you got. But he is not there for me. This is a feeling. A very powerful, rampant and universal feeling, which is what is the bread and butter of Vedanta, is to show this, the mithyatvam of this feeling, is to reveal the absurdity of this feeling, to reveal that this feeling is based on all kinds of notions which have nothing to do with the reality of you. That is the business, the purpose of Vedanta. And so, to think that Bhagavan has abandoned me is a psychological issue. Psychological issue, all right, but for which psychology has no solution. This was Pujya Swamiji's famous statement. Psychology has no solution. Therefore, I come into Vedanta because Vedanta has no problem. Vedanta has no problem, psychology has no solution. How can psychology solve this? Psychology is based on the pramana of deduction and induction, like every other branch of knowledge. That's what it is. How can it have a solution? And what does Vedanta? Vedanta has a solution by showing that there is no problem. That is the solution. That is the ultimate solution, because if the problem between the distance of between myself and the maker were real, that which is real can never be bridged. Okay, it is unreal. If it is unreal, what are we doing here? It need not be bridged. So therefore it is somewhere in between. Sad asadbhyam anirvachya. That which cannot be categorically said to exist, that which cannot be categorically denied either. Experientially, I feel away from the whole, I feel slighted by God, I feel let down, I feel far away from Ishvara, locally not available, I feel far away, I don't feel connected, I feel dissociated, I feel disconnected. It's an experiential problem which has its resolution in knowing the mithyatvam of this feeling, that this notion is experienced all right, but it is not ultimately proven to be real. So, maham brahma nirakuryam ma means may not. The other mam, me, brahma nirakarot. And then for good measure we say what? Anirakaranam astu. Let there be no negation. Anirakaranam me astu. Let there be no negation for me. From age 2, when we can speak, the first word being maybe amma appa, after that what? No. The child says no. From 2 to 92, on the deathbed also, no. This mantra is an invitation, a gentle and beautiful invitation to convert the no in our lives into yes. Let me be a yes man and a yes woman for a change. Yes is a place of vulnerability. Yes is a place of commitment. Yes is a place of acceptance. Yes is a place of putting the boxing gloves down. Yes is a place of disarmament. Yes is a place of letting go. Therefore, yes is a place of fear. Therefore, we go into no, which is a place of comfort and so-called power. But yes, my friends, is a place of quiet power. Very quiet power that transcends the local power, powerlessness, strife, conflict. So let me grow into saying yes rather than no, 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 no all the time. We can practice this during the retreat. Whenever you want to say no, what should you say? Yes. Let every no of mine be converted to yes. Because this is a safe place. This is a safe place to do that. So, yes. Anirakaranam astu. Anirakaranam me astu. And then one more line is left. When we come back, we will see it and complete the Shanti mantra and get into the Upanishad. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.